Hello. I'd like to answer some questions about the Xbox Series X now. In case you were wondering about my appearance, I've been working all night on my impressions on the Xbox Series X. And I may pass out at any moment during this video. And I'm doing my best to make sure that doesn't happen. But no promises. I have a bunch of questions here. Got my gamer glasses on. And I'm ready to go. So, the question now is just, are you ready? You are. Okay. Well, then I'm going to start answering these. All right. In no particular order. This first one comes from at D3Rachi. Darachi? I don't know. My phone went to sleep. Okay. How fingerprintable is that front panel? How nuts am I going to go trying to keep it as clean as possible? Okay, so I wasn't eating or anything, and I touched it, and I got the fingerprints on it, and they look especially greasy on there, and it's actually kind of hard to get them off. I haven't like taken any cleaner or anything or any like liquid or fluid to it yet to try to clean it, because I don't want to ruin it. But that'll probably work. But like a microfiber cloth, that didn't do the trick. So the answers vary, but on the other hand, when it's sitting over there right now, I have it sitting over there all the time in like normal room light, not always in this dark, gamer den sort of thing. But no matter what, I never notice the fingerprints unless I'm looking for them or unless I'm using like this like harsh light here. So yeah. From at Get Wrecked, when touching it, does it leave fingerprints no matter what? I think you could probably wear gloves. From at Tristan A. Cooper. What's up, Tristan? Did you get a retail box? What's all in there? I did not get a retail box. I am not yet allowed to say what was in the box that I got. I don't know why. I think I showed it. Whatever. Do you know if it's upside down? What? Don't, come on, guys. I'm so tired. Don't mess with me with questions like that. How do you know if anything is upside down or not? This is messed up, man. It's from at DHMatt90. Does it smell good? Your hair. Oh. Okay. At 10K23, how quiet is it? What's the decibel reason? I think you probably meant level. You got a bunch of questions here. Let's go. Let's answer that one first. Look, it's very quiet. It is. Man, there's a computer right next to that. Computer's way louder there, and that computer's kind of loud right now, but it's normally pretty quiet. The Xbox Series X is much quieter. It is this thing. I tried everything I could think of to make that fan spin up as fast as possible. It's very quiet. I'll try to get it in a room where I can test the decibels. But my impressions from just like using it is this thing is very quiet. How does it take to load from a cold hard boot to the main menu? I have a video on that. Just click on my name, go to my other videos, or I think I'm going to post it to Twitter too. It's very fast. It's very awesome, actually. That was very exciting to see. How long to launch a game from a cold hard boot? Launching games was very fast as well. In my main impressions video, go watch that. I try to show some examples of that. Yeah, you'll be impressed. How fast is quick resume swapping? So I need to post this video separate as well. But I went from off in instant mode, so not a cold boot, but I went from it off in standby mode, turned it on, and then I swapped between 4 games, and I waited till like the game was playable, not just like the loading screen. And I did that all in under 90 seconds. So I turned it on, jumped into a game, waited until I could play it, jumped into another game, waited till I can play it, and so on. And all of that was less than 90 seconds. So again, SSDs are a good thing. I'm messing up the questions. This is still from 10K23. How do the shoulder buttons feel when pressed? Awesome. The controller's awesome. The controller's so good. Where's this thing? Man, the controller is really good. I talk about this in the video, but I'm gonna talk about it here too. The shoulder buttons, oh, they feel really great. But the controller looks the same. They did design it differently. They put all of the weight in the handles, so it feels really good to grip. I really, really like the way it feels. I talk about that more in the video. You should just watch that. Okay, from the Angry Tacos. Please, please, please verify that load times are indeed as advertised. So they are fast. One thing I thought that I found surprising was that loading backward compatible games, even from an external USB SSD, was really fast as well. It was only like slightly slower than from the internal SSD. So that tells me that the velocity architecture is working, and that probably the bottleneck here is a matter of developers trying to take advantage of that architecture, so that when they are on the internal SSD, they'll go even faster. So I had games loaded as quick as 10 seconds, and some took like 30 seconds, and then but they were always faster than a hard drive or the Xbox One X. So yeah, I don't know if it's quite as advertised. I mean, I don't know if they ever said instant loading. Nothing was instantly loading, but these are all backward compatible games. So I think there's going to be a barrier there. This one's from Old Taco. Got 2 tacos in a row. Again, I feel like you guys are messing with me. What are your first impressions on the Xbox Series X ergonomics compared to the Xbox One controller? I just talked about that. But yeah, man, this is their best controller other than the Elite. I think that the heft and the way that oh man, I just love holding this thing. It makes me want to play video games. They really nailed this controller. I'm really happy with it. How much air flows out of the top? Can you use it as a makeshift heater for the winter? A lot, and yes, but it's like no more than the Xbox One X or anything like that. At least it doesn't feel like it. I bet it actually is letting off more heat just because, but it's a bigger surface area, so it probably just doesn't feel as intense. Oh wait, how much air flows out of the top? Oh no, that was from Old Taco as well. Okay, so at Dragoon, Jeff, this is a weird question, and they're all weird. But can the Series X and Series S capture gameplay and share it at 1080p, 1440p, 60 frames per second for some of us on HDTV or monitors? Emphasis on 60. I didn't test a lot of the capture stuff. I did a little bit, but I should look into that. I'll look into that. From at Arch Boss. What is that open space at the top of the back for? Does the console open up or something? You know, I noticed that and I never actually looked into it. I'll look into that too and I'll get back to you. From the Metal Eric, throw in a disc not on the list of backwards compatible and see what happens. So I did this, but I also like just had games on the hard drive. Like the hard drives are portable, so I took the USB hard drive from the Xbox One X and I popped it in there. And a lot of the games are not yet fully they haven't gotten like the green like the thumbs up or the green flag. I gotta turn off this sound. And so when you go to launch those games, it says this game's not compatible. That's it. That's all it says. Don't worry about that stuff. Xbox is being very insistent that they're going to get more and more of those games working all the time. They're like, hey, what game do you want us to approve for you if you have like one that you really want to test? And so they're at that stage where it's like it's just a matter of who goes into the line first. From at Geeky Techie Cool, any difference in vibration sound output, resonance, fan noise in vertical versus horizontal operation? I didn't really notice that, but I haven't had enough time to test that sort of thing. I mostly have had it in vertical orientation. In vertical orientation, it's like it's practically soundless, practically vibrationless, as far as I could tell. That it's a big fan in there, spinning relatively slowly, so it's probably just not going to create a lot of movement no matter what. Is the UI noticeably different than an Xbox One? So it's pretty similar if you have the Insider Ring, but this is an unfinished version of the UI that I'm using, so it's not like it's not fair to comment really. I will just say that the UI is very responsive and snappy from what I've used so far. And then how's the boot time from off resting to the landing screen? How about into a game from standstill? All of that's in the video. It's all very fast. It's very impressive. From at the Unsung Hero 26, are there any new enhancements for 360 and other backwards compatible games yet? Auto HDR, higher res, etc. I think they said Geometry Wars would benefit from it. I need to play Geometry Wars, one of my favorites, and I want to see that as well. But yeah, the auto HDR, it was working. At a certain point I started capturing and I wasn't capturing HDR, so I didn't get a ton. Excuse me. I don't think I'm gonna edit that out. I'm not gonna edit this, so I'm sorry I burped. Um, I wasn't seeing the HDR because I was capturing. So I'll have to go back and connect it to the TV or the HDR monitor here and see what it looks like. But it was working when I was testing that out. From at Lord Freya, any information on transferring settings and stuff over, similar to the app they released when the One X launched? Is it running one of the current insider rings of Xbox dashboard or something else? It's one of the insider rings, basically. And then transferring settings and stuff over. It seems like I guess I don't know what would transfer over. I guess like your TV settings. I'm not sure. I think the setup process is unique here, and we'll talk about that more later. From at VJ Incoming, what does it taste like? It tastes. I don't know, man. I'm not gonna go taste it right. It probably tastes bad. Probably tastes like my hands. From at 11357 Daddy, any perceived difference in speed load times using internal NVMe versus external expansion card? Assuming you got one. Yeah, I got one. No, it's the same thing. These are the same exact thing. I'm pretty sure it's the same exact NAND flash memory in both. And so, yeah. And they're both operating on the same like architecture with the same interface. It's the same. That's the whole point. From at Gilbeezy, does the UI feel faster than on Xbox One X? Are you able to immediately notice improvements when playing games outside of load speeds? The UI does feel faster. So that new version of the UI on the Xbox One is really fast and impressive and nice. They've made a lot of improvements software-wise, and it really shows on the Xbox One. And then you try it on the Xbox Series X, and it's like, wow, okay, this is even faster. It's even more responsive. You never feel like you're loading anything. Loading in stuff from like the store, the web content, it's like, oh, that happened instantly too. So it's like it just zooms so quickly. It feels really nice to navigate that interface now. And that's both sides of it. It's fast hardware with an SSD and a really fast CPU to process all this stuff, and then also software side of Microsoft finally just kind of getting their shit together with that stuff. And then immediate differences when I'm playing a game depends. Some games yes, some games no. You got to remember that like some games are just locked to a resolution and to a frame rate, and it's not going to change no matter what hardware you put it on. Some games have dynamic resolution and uncapped frame rates, and those games they will benefit. But nothing's universal. It's going to be a game by game basis. From a dork among us, based on your hands-on experience with the Series X, do you think it's worth it? Or if someone like me who is mostly just looking to play Xbox One games in a better resolution, just get an Xbox One S or X and wait on getting a Series S or X. Sorry, there's some spelling in there. So if you play video games every day on a console, I really recommend this new thing. You know, I can't review it, but like I said in my main video, I do not want to go back to the Xbox One or the PlayStation 4. This is you shouldn't be playing games without an SSD in 2020. That is almost a cruelty. It is absurd that the basic version of playing games on a console is on a 5400 RPM hard drive that should be in a laptop. That is a crime, and it should be. Someone should stop it. Someone should put an end to that. And that's kind of what the Xbox Series X and then the PlayStation 5 are both going to be. Yeah, they are going to put an end to that. And yeah, I mean, No, spend the extra money. At the very least, get an Xbox Series S, or the PlayStation 5 Digital Edition, probably. Don't just you got to be playing games on an SSD. That's my opinion. From at Matt Piscatella, number one Knack fan. Did you confuse this box for the Xbox One X when it arrived? No, of course not. Look. Right here. Xbox Series X. What are you guys talking about? I don't even how would that even happen? Who could get confused about that? From at Silent Victory, how responsive is the UI? Is there a noticeable delay when pressing the guide button? No delay. Very responsive. From Juan Lobo F10, is it heavy? Yes, it's like 8 or 9 pounds. Although that Xbox One X I just picked, just ruined the joke. That was heavy too. They're about the same. At Wario64, it's cake. I mean, yeah. I'm gonna eat it right when we're done here. At Helios821, is it running the current Xbox OS or an updated version? I think it's an update. I think it's basically the current one, but it's probably got some specific updates to it. But the general UI, I didn't look at the OS number or anything like that. But the general UI is what I've been using on the Xbox One X for the last couple of weeks, maybe a couple of days. He also says, is there actually a light in the top near the fan as some artwork almost depicted? It's not a light, it's painted. The holes of the vent are painted green on their inner ring. So as you look at it and you hover over, that light reflects off that green really nicely and creates a really cool effect. But it's not it doesn't stand out. It's not trying to grab your attention. It's something that you notice. It's almost like an Easter egg. You notice it if you go to look at the console closely. But if you're not looking, you're not going to see it. And I think that's a good thing. It's part of the ethos of what Microsoft was going for here. They wanted something that could blend in, and it does. But if you look closely, you'll see that it's got some really neat visual features that do make it stand out. Does it look odd on its side? Yes, because it looks really tall. Of course it's much taller when it's standing up vertically, but on its side, it doesn't look like anything else when it's on its side. When it stands up vertically, it looks like a PC case, or it looks like a router, or it looks like a bunch of other stuff. It looks like an APC, or it looks like a NAS or something. On its side, it doesn't look like a VCR. It doesn't look like any of these other things. So you're like, wait, what is that giant fat thing sitting there? That said, it still doesn't stand out that much. It just looks a tiny bit weirder than when it's standing up straight. Have you tried to use Astro A50s with it? No, I have them right over there. I'll give it a shot. Is there a power brick? No, it's got an internal PSU. Okay, let's keep going. Almost done, I think. Maybe. From at UODucks09. I'm looking to upgrade to a 4K TV, and which model I get depends on the HDR format supported by Series X. We know it does DV, Dolby Vision, but will it support Samsung's HDR10 Plus as well? I believe it does. I have a Samsung. I'll go plug it in and find out and try to follow up there. From at Joshua, I have a question. Do you think the Xbox Series X is worth the upgrade? And how? Oh no, I just ruined everything because my fingers are behaving on their own. Is it worth the upgrade? And how do gamers play and feel on the X? How do games play and feel? No review, but like I said, I don't want to go back. Games feel good. From Matt Ash Guy, why do you get it and not Mike so I could play around with it? And then he was gave me the face with tears emoji. Mike Minotti is my coworker, and I got it and not him, and this is his brother. And ha ha ha, that's what I say to that. He also said throw some games with dynamic resolution and unlock frame rates at it and see if they max out. They do. They really do. So you can see that in my main video. But Sekiro, play Sekiro on this thing. That's a good thing to do, man. I played that on PC, so I already had that experience. But I played a lot of the game on Xbox One X first, and the difference is night and day in terms of the smoothness of the frame rate. It is such a better experience on the Xbox One X. And about every game I tested that had an unlocked frame rate was hitting 60. It was getting at least close to 60, like 59, 60, 58, 60, really close. There were still dips, of course. Does the auto HDR actually do anything noticeable? I think so. I do think so. I think you might even see it in my videos a little bit, where like the tone mapping was happening in some of them, and yeah, I don't know. I'll need to look into that more, but it seemed like it was working. From at Soul Edge Gaming, does the Series X support ultra wide? Damn it! I remember your question and meant to test it, and I never got the time. It's right over here. I will plug it into an ultra wide and see what happens. From at Imran Khan, are you being crushed underneath it right now? Is this a cry for help? And that was a response to the picture where it was crushing me and I did need help. And where were you, Imran? Where were you? Okay. Last one. And then I'm going to bed. From at Rate Hatfield, do you think there would be any issue with flipping it over? So basically, like, there's bumpers on one side, so when you put it on your side, you're supposed to put it on that side. But what if you want to put it on the other side so you can blow the air the other way instead of at your PlayStation 5, which is, I think, Rate's problem. Looking at it, it doesn't seem like there would be any reason why you couldn't do that. But I bet there's a reason why the bumpers are on one side and not the other. But I bet it'll still work just fine. And you know, who knows? If it breaks, I'm sorry. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not Xbox. Don't blame me. All right. I think that's gonna do it. If you have any more questions, maybe I could do another round of this. Put them in the comments. Send them to me on Twitter. I'm at Jeff Grubb, or email me jeff.grubb@venturebeat.com. Yeah, I'll try to answer them. Right now, I am very tired. I worked the entire weekend, nonstop, and then stayed up all night from Sunday till Monday. It's 6:42 a.m. my time in Denver. In 18 minutes, the embargo's up. So I'm just gonna upload this, and then I'm gonna go crawl into a blanket somewhere, maybe a bed. Who knows if I'll get that far? There's no way to know. There's just no way. Okay, why am I leaning so close to you right now? Go away. I'm going to bed. I love you all very much. Have a good one. Take care of yourself. Bye.